Here's a word from Lifewave.
Imagine having no pain, sleeping through the night, having more energy, and reversing the aging process. Now imagine Lifewave doing that all naturally, without the use of harmful drugs. X39 is the most advanced patented light therapy in the world. Lightwave is a simple wearable patch that you place on your body that stimulates the body to regenerate and heal itself. With more than 20 years of research and over 100 patents, Lifewave specializes in age-reversing all-natural health. Find out what the power of the patch can do for you. For more information or to join our Lifewave community, go to thingsthatmatter.ca/Lifewave. Lifewave, reversing the aging process naturally without the use of harmful drugs.
Well, if you stayed with us so far, hang with us just another 30-minute segment as we get into age-reversing health with my knowledgeable friend and co-host, Judy Friesen. Judy, welcome to the show. You have brought a real game plan today. I've teased it out a little bit, but we're going to be talking about a lot of good things, and they're all related to age-reversing health.
That's right. Good to be with you again, Carl, and welcome to all the folks who are watching. And I think that we're going to have a good time today understanding something that is just phenomenal for people's health.
Yes, it certainly is. And we talk about a lot of different things, and maybe some people would say, well, what has that got to do with age-reversing health? But you know what? The fact is we're all aging.
That's right.
And I was thinking about, and we are going to talk about a lot of things in the days to come. I thought about, reducing stress. Didn't our parents at some point say, you've put every one of these gray hairs on my head? And we look at that and they say, yeah, that's age as well, but it's not just about, the look. And I think sometimes we need to expand that definition of age reversing, because as David Schmidt said, if it was just about looking younger, wouldn't that just be about vanity? No, it's not about looking younger. It's about living, feeling, acting younger. And that's why we call it age reversing health.
Absolutely. We want our cells in our body, every cell, your eye cells, your liver cells, your kidney cells, your joint cells, everything. You want that to be like it was younger when you were 15, 20 years of age, and you didn't even think about worry about if you got down on your knees with your kids or whatever. You didn't even think about any pain. You just got down on your knees and they worked well. But we want to make sure that all our cells are acting younger, not just the surface cells, not just the hair or the skin, as you said, but every organ in our body. It's important that they act and look young inside and out.
Yeah, and we've touched on this before, how particularly the Lifewave X39 patch activates stem cells. But today we're going to do a little bit of a drill down on that a little bit more and say, how does that happen? And so I don't want to get ahead of you, but I do know we're going to talk about copper. Yeah. We're going to talk about chocolate. Hello, all the women out there listening, talking about chocolate in health. And we're going to talk about this copper peptide and the importance of it, which has its roots in 53 years of research by Dr. Lauren Picard. So, Judy, where do you want to go with this? Because it's all good.
Well, it is all good. Let's start off with, first of all, talking a little tiny bit about this amazing technology from Lifewave, which is a company that's doubling in its sales year after year around the world. It's sold in over 55 countries. There's 100 and some odd patents with the scientist and the owner, David Schmidt. So this is a major company that has developed a patch that does help elevate something in the body that we can really claim is age reversing. And that's something that we're talking about today, Carl, is this copper peptide. Most people haven't heard about it. So we've got a couple clips that we're going to show to talk a little bit about what this patch technology is. And then we're going to drill down a little bit about where can you find this copper peptide? Does your body make it? How do you increase it? And we're going to hear from the scientist that developed this patch right from his own mouth about how this copper peptide can make a difference in your life. So what I'd like to do is have you queue up the first video we want to watch. It's a very short one from a lady that I've come to admire. She's actually a doctor, but not just a doctor. She's a double doctorate. She has got a couple PhDs. And Dr. Stacy is a lady who knows what she's talking about when it comes to this patch technology. I just want our listeners to listen carefully to what she says this patch can do.
So this patch, the white part, that white part right there, embedded in that is a crystal lattice structure. That structure is what David has invented. Okay, and every patch has a different structure, a different lattice structure, because it's a different group of organic amino acids, sugars, oxygen, and water. Those molecules, not like sugar from your pantry or amino acids from a powder in the gym, but those molecules form together in a very specific lattice. That lattice, that light crystal lattice structure that's in here, is what our body is communicating with, okay? So reflecting back a specific wavelength. That wavelength of light signals a peptide in your body. This patch here, the stem cell activation patch, actually signals GHK-Cu copper peptide. Thank you, David. He is always on spot. And so GHK-Cu, if you go to reverseagingwithghk.com, you can read 50 years of clinical studies and research from Dr. Laurent Picard and all of his benefits that he has shown that increasing GHK does in the body, which is where David started his research 15 years ago, right? We know it took him over 10 years in the lab to figure out how to do what this patch does. So elevate your GHK-Cu copper peptide, reset a third of your genes. The second I just put this on my body, a third of my genes are reset back to their young, youthful, healthy state. I don't know who wouldn't sign up for that.
All right. Well, put that into context for us, what Dr. Stacy shared.
Absolutely. Sorry about if the screen was a bit frozen as she was talking, but she said something very, very important. Dr. Laurent Picard has done 53 years of research on this little known thing called a copper peptide. And David Schmidt, the CEO of Lifewave, spent 10, 15 years developing a light therapy patch that you could wear to help elevate this wonderful thing that we keep talking about. What in the world is GHK-Cu, or the copper peptide? It's the holy grail of healing. So what are we talking about? Well, simply, GHK is simply an abbreviation of three amino acids: glycine, histidine, and lysine. You don't have to get into the science to understand how amazing this thing is. But when your body puts together those amino acids that you get from your diet, from proteins, when the glycine, the histidine, and the lysine all come together, they bond together, they become like that sticky fly paper that you think of when you have it in your cabin. What does that fly paper attract to it? Flies love to come to it. Well, this amino acid complex, this peptide called GHK, actually is an attractive thing to copper. So any kind of copper in your diet, the copper is going to want to bond to it. And when you've got this GHK and the copper then comes sticking to it, just like fly in a fly paper, this is the magic, Carl. This copper peptide, this special thing that the body is able to put together, is what turns on your own stem cells to be younger, to proliferate, to make more of them. That is what we are talking about tonight, is this copper peptide is absolutely been shown over 53 years to activate our cells to be younger.
Okay, so to put it into context, and for some that have maybe listened to the show before, and maybe those that are listening for the first time, this copper peptide is naturally occurring in the body, and it is predominantly there in our younger years when we are full, billions, not millions, billions of stem cells in our body, because every part of your body starts off as a stem cell. So the correlation is between stem cells that are needed to build the body, to repair the body, and this copper peptide, GHK. And when those, what happens over the years though, is you age, your stem cells drop, which is why you heal slower and age faster, when in fact, when you were young, you would age much slower and heal really quick. So just to drive it home, there's the science in here is unmistakable. As you said, it is documented in the studies of this Dr. Lauren Picard, and David Schmidt is feeding off of that information to develop the most advanced light therapy ever seen to help your body get back this copper peptide.
Exactly. So people might say, well, why haven't we heard of this before? Well, it's just that science is out there, and your doctor is not responsible to be a professor or to be your teacher. He's there to kind of fix things that are broken when you come in. But there's enough research now that proves the link between elevating your copper peptide and the action of your stem cells. And Lifewave has just come in and activated more of this copper peptide so that it can then activate your stem cells. Why are stem cells so important? Well, simply, they're the things that your body uses. Your stem cells turn into the various cells of your body that are diseased or dysfunctional. So you want lots of stem cells. And there's, of course, lots of controversy about injecting stem cells, but they don't often work. By enabling your own body to make more stem cells, that is what is going to help your body to repair and look younger and reverse your age, actually to reset the way your body makes stem cells. We want lots of that copper.
Right. And there is, if people know anything about stem cells, they know that they're stem cell injections. That he went to Mexico. He had stem cell. I said, okay, because he was asking me about our light therapy patches. And he wanted to share that he knew, because it's controversial, where do stem cells come from? A lot of them can come from aborted fetuses, but he knew it came from the placenta of the mother. That's what he was told, at least. So he can go on that and be assured that there wasn't anything that didn't square with his beliefs. But they are expensive, controversial, they're invasive, they're painful, and there's no guarantee on any of that. So just to put it into context, you've got that whole industry on one side, and we've got this advanced light therapy patch that is pretty affordable when you stack it up against stem cell injections, right, Judy?
Absolutely. It's way more affordable than getting any kind of an injections. And you also run the risk of infection. You run the risk of dealing with encouraging the abortion industry, which we don't want to do. So it's far, far better to have your own body make your own stem cells, which are genetically exact to what your body needs. So here's another video that we're going to play where the founder himself, David Schmidt, talks and explains how does this patch elevate copper peptide. So it's just a 50-second quick clip, but he explains how the patch actually elevates this copper that we need. So let's play that, Carl, and then we can talk about that a little bit more.
And another way to think about it is that it's a form of low-level light therapy. Now, what we're going to do with this specific product is look to elevate the peptide GHK-Cu, or copper peptide. Now, what makes this such an interesting study is that copper peptide, which was discovered by Dr. Lauren Picard more than 45 years ago now, is that has a few very, very interesting features relative to the way the body will metabolize things like amino acids, functions on the heart, the brain, but also specifically, it's a very powerful gene modulator, and it can activate the stem cells, cause them to proliferate. And another.
All right. That was.
All right. So that was a mouthful, but basically what we've talked about so far today is that there's proof beyond a shadow of a doubt that elevating GHK-Cu in your body is necessary as you age because it starts to go downhill. We don't have as much in our body. And the patch simply helps to elevate this very important peptide. And it's the peptide that actually increases the stem cell production so that we can heal and regenerate. But the good thing is that we also need to eat healthy. This is not just a panacea where, you eat Twinkies and donuts all day and you put the patch on and you'll be fine. You still have to eat well. And one of the things that we recommend is to have lots of copper in your body so that your body can have the raw materials of copper to bind with this GHK. So it makes the GHK-Cu. So what are the foods that we can eat to help us to have more natural copper in our body? Well, some people eat liver. I don't always recommend it, and it doesn't always taste very good. But there's another really strong and high source of copper, and that's dark chocolate if it's over 72% dark. So dark chocolate, a little bit of that every day, or a person might want to just take a supplement of copper glycinate. 2 to 2.5 milligrams of copper glycinate a day will ensure that your body has these raw materials. But without the patch, it doesn't help just to take copper. You still need this patch technology to activate all of that so that it will start to stimulate your stem cells. Why do we need GHK-Cu? Well, what does it do for us? Well, David mentioned in that little clip that it helps with heart, it helps with skin, but did you know that it also repairs protective barriers in your body? It actually smooths out rough skin, it removes photo damage, but what I really like about it is that it repairs and it stimulates wound healing, and it reduces inflammation and free radical damage. Not to mention hair growth, the thickness of your hair, it actually acts, this GHK-Cu can actually act almost like taking minoxidil, which a lot of people use to try to thicken and help their hair from falling out. So there's a lot of really wonderful benefits when you elevate this GHK-Cu because it's stimulating those stem cells to help you look and feel younger.
When you were talking about chocolate, I was looking for a chocolate bar that I had in the truck, and I have it here somewhere. And it's Lind chocolate, which a lot of people like, but it's only 70%. Not quite there, right?
Right. So there will be a little bit of copper in it. So it's not the end of the world, but you want to get that good boost of natural copper, which comes in the cacao bean. So if you can get natural cacao and grind it up yourself and make your own, chocolate drink or chocolate bar without all the extra sugars and oils in it, then you would be good. You can take dark cacao and mix it with coconut oil and add a little bit of natural sweetener and make your own chocolate bar. It'll be so much better than the store-bought ones and a lot cheaper, by the way. So, but let's not get off too much track about chocolate. What we want to stress today is that if you want to have a younger kind of functioning body, you need to elevate those stem cells, and they elevate only if you have this GHK-Cu peptide in your body being elevated. And that's why I love using this patch technology, because I've seen for myself a change in my skin. My age spots have disappeared. The hair color has come back. I don't have a head full of white hair anymore. I'm back to normal blonde. Those are the symptoms and signs externally that this copper peptide is doing its job to elevate these stem cells. But internally, I don't have the pain. I don't have the tiredness that I used to have.
Yeah, all those signs that indicate you're aging. I mean, we've talked about the lifespan and the health span of people, and they're very different when you investigate that further. We want to increase the health span. So as you said, when you think about getting down on the floor, you don't have to worry about getting up.
That's right.
You know that the knees are going to be there for you.
And the other thing that we want to stress tonight, Carl, is that we don't want to just think about only age reversing, but also protection from what's going to happen down the road. So this is a great insurance plan. the healthcare system is disease care. It only fixes you after you get a disease. They try to find out the symptoms, name the disease, and then they try to fix it. But what if we could take something that would help prevent disease? That's what we're really wanting to do. So,
well,
you know,
I call that preventative maintenance. That's the best form of it.
That is the best form of it. So I think that we want to queue up the next video, and that one is David Schmidt himself talking about the results from wearing this X39 patch that we've been speaking about today. And it's the first part of him referring to the results.
Now, what are the real world results with this? We've seen very, very dramatic effects. This was an individual in Italy who had open heart surgery in July of 2017. They first started using this light therapy patch in July of 2018. And you can see, even though they had had this scar for a year, we get a very dramatic reduction in the appearance of this scar in only 1 month. Here's another example. This was someone that had had surgery in August of 2020. So this was quite recently. And you can see after only 2 weeks, a very dramatic reduction in the appearance of the scar. Now, the patch can be applied right at the site of the injury, or it could be applied, again, behind the neck below the belly button. This is a systemic effect. And again, we see most people like to apply it locally. They feel it works better there. That may be psychological because our tests show otherwise. But in any case, you apply it and you get the result. This is from a distributor that we have in France whose son was involved in an accident just prior to a job interview. And just after 5 days, we see a remarkable improvement. Again, this is a remarkable story. This person was involved in a car accident, nearly lost their hand. And after only 2 months, looks like most of the scar had disappeared. This is a boy in Denmark, 9 years old. The fingertip was severed off. They surgically reattached it. After 2 months, he regained use of the fingertip. This is what some people see after a year of using the product. And here is what we refer to as youth renewal after just 2 months of X39. 93-year-old woman, amazing results. So I want to thank you for your time and taking a look at this new technology.
Well, that's pretty significant, you know. And the one thing, I don't know if our audience caught it, but all the different countries that were mentioned is to say that Lifewave and its technology is available in more than 85 countries around the world. That last one, Judy, is that not a friend of ours' mother? Is that not?
Yes, that's correct.
Adele's mother?
Yeah.
I'm just going to read the first name.
These are not doctored pictures, and you and I both know a number of the people that were in these photo shots. They are not doctored pictures. These are the real thing. This is hard to believe, but it's true. It can actually speed up healing so that it's like 10 times faster than what you would expect. And why? It's because you've got these newly formed younger stem cells. They're younger, and they're able to go to work to do the repair. It deals with the critical issues first. So if you've got a severed finger, it's not going to be working on your hair or your skin. It's going to go right. These stem cells are going to go right to the point of the problem. And you're going to see a huge improvement just by wearing the patch. Even at the back of the neck, even if you've got a severed finger, you can still wear the patch 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Some people wear them for a little bit longer, but I recommend put it on in the morning, take it off at bedtime, drink lots of water, and you'll see some remarkable, remarkable things. I don't know if you want or have time, Carl, but we could play part 2 of a few more recommendations of what David Schmidt says that these patches can do in part 2.
We've got a couple minutes left, but do you want to do a part 2 on this one? You want to hold that over, or
you know what? Why don't we hold it over and just make a little summary here, so we don't go overtime, and we can play part 2 perhaps next week, because there's some remarkable things to take a look at in part 2.
Yeah. And I just want to set the stage again that when we talk about what we talk about, when you talk about what you're saying, we're always pointing to the established evidence of what has already been tested and proven. And David Schmidt points to Dr. Lauren Picard, a well-respected practitioner. And I want to be brief here so that you can close with your comments. But there's another Dr. John Harmon who wrote a book of age-reversing health and linking up the copper peptide to it as well. So we've got a little less than 2 minutes here, Judy. Do you want to just kind of bring this into focus for our viewers? Because there's a lot of information here. We could go on for hours about this research.
I think that the simplest way to summarize here is that there is this natural light wave technology in the form of a wearable patch that will activate the right kind of peptide in your body, and that will stimulate your stem cells. And we know that stem cells are the answer to our body's repair system. And so if you want to feel the effects of aging backwards, if you want to feel younger and healthier and protect your skin, your lungs, your heart, your brain, your nerves, you want to put this patch on daily and watch it work. And guess what? The neatest thing is it's affordable. And number 2, it's easy to use. And number 3, you're going to feel the difference if you just give it a chance over the next couple months. You will feel the difference, and you're going to feel 10, 15, 20 years younger.
All right. So if you want to know more about this, you can certainly direct message me on my Facebook page, and I'll pass your questions and your inquiries on to Judy. I'll be happy to answer what I can. But Judy is a 38-year veteran in health, and she knows she wouldn't be involved or even be doing any of this if it weren't for the fact that this stuff works. It's verified not only in science, but it also carries a money-back guarantee by the company. I don't know what else you have to say to people to get them to try something when they're at the end of themselves, at the end of their doctor, and they're saying there's nothing more we can do. We offer hope in the form of a patch. Judy, thank you so much for being with us. I look forward to what you're going to bring next week already on age-reversing health. Thank you so much. Right. Well, that effectively brings us to the end of our program. Again, this is Things That Matter. I'm your host, Carl Krebs, and we're here every Thursday at 6:30. And I'm thankful that I have Brad Wilder working the controls in the background, making sure that we're up and running on Facebook and everywhere else. But I truly believe that if you show up here every Thursday, you're going to learn something that you didn't know. And our job, my passion, is to send you away with some sort of challenge, with information that has a tangible benefit to you or someone you know. And truly, I do want to talk about the things that matter. And I invite your comments. Please reach me at info@thingsthatmatter.ca. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And if there's something that is on your heart that you would like us to address, something that you believe is something that really matters, I'd love to hear from you. Until then, God bless and good night wherever you are. We'll see you here next Thursday at 6:30 Manitoba time.
Imagine having no pain, sleeping through the night, having more energy, and reversing the aging process. Now imagine Lifewave doing that all naturally, without the use of harmful drugs. X39 is the most advanced patented light therapy in the world. Lightwave is a simple wearable patch that you place on your body that stimulates the body to regenerate and heal itself. With more than 20 years of research and over 100 patents, Lifewave specializes in age-reversing all-natural health. Find out what the power of the patch can do for you. For more information or to join our Lifewave community, go to thingsthatmatter.ca/Lifewave. Lifewave, reversing the aging process naturally. without the use of harmful drugs.